platform like Kick or like Snapchat or even a text, something like a Text Now app, like a free text app. Do not, on those places, they will hyperlink that text either to your Fansly or to your OnlyFans page. And then the person can click through and then they can subscribe. But don't bother dropping links on those platforms. Not only can it get you banned, but it's just a giant waste of time. All right, number 28, your blog, video, or audio channels. So if you write a blog, create video content on channels like YouTube, or have gotten into the craze of audio social media, make sure to let your audience know about your new page on Fansly. Okay, number 29, follow top creators. Follow the top creators on Fansly because they will be getting a lot of comments from newbies to the website. You can then follow those pages and interact with their fans. Since it's a new site, people will be more likely to interact with you as they aren't getting spammed as much daily as they were on OnlyFans. Okay, number 30, Discord server. So having a Discord server is a great way to keep your fans up to date on your activities. With so many different sites, it will be important for you to let them know what is going on, and that you will primarily maybe be on Fansly from now on, interacting as opposed to OnlyFans, or at least letting them know which of the sites you're going to be interacting on more, and where they can get that kind of spicy content that they want. Okay, number 31, update your personal site. If you currently have your own website or business and you've had an OnlyFans link on it, you should now update it to include your Fansly link as well. And then number 32, get back in those OnlyFans comments. All of your biggest fans are sitting in the comment section of your OnlyFans page. Go back and comment and letting them know if you've decided to move over to Fansly, especially if you're doing a full switch over. Get in there, let them know. People get alerts for comments. That's a big thing, as opposed to the DMs. A lot of people ignore the DMs, but they get alert for a comment or a response to a comment and they notice it. So you definitely want to let people know that way. All right. And number 33, last but not least, send out messages on all your instant messengers. So whether you are on Kick, Facebook IM, WhatsApp, Telegram, etc., you want to go ahead and announce your new page, your new Fansly page to that audience. So people have to follow you back on these types of platforms, or they are most likely to be interested in your new Fansly page. So for IM programs, these are your really dedicated fans. These are people who have chosen to follow you back for some reason. So you definitely want to go ahead and let those people know. So, as you know, everyone is now in kind of a transition process where they're figuring out, do they just want to have an OnlyFans? Do they want to also have a Fansly as well as kind of a backup? So right now, everyone is in the same boat. Everyone, when you go on to a site like Fansly, everyone is kind of starting from scratch, from zero. So that means that you can position yourself on something like Fansly to become more of a top earner. You can put yourself in a dominant position on a particular niche as well. So these are all great opportunities that Fansly offers you. Now, the big question has always been, is Fansly going to be for real? Is Fansly going to last the distance? We will see. It will continue to grow. I feel honestly that it is in the best position to be a direct competitor with OnlyFans. Now, as I've gone over about building up, followers on social media, you need 1,000 people. My goodness, to get 1 million followers, what you need 1,000 people to follow you a day for 3 years. You know what I mean? So it's going to take some time. OnlyFans has 130 million followers. Who knows how many people popped on and jumped on to Fansly? It could have been 1 million, but that's still, 1/130th of the, amount of people that are on OnlyFans. So it's going to take some time, but it definitely does pose an opportunity for you as a marketer, as a person who wants to earn income. And there's going to be some people who are just going to be on Fansly. They're going to drop their OnlyFans accounts. They're going to say, oh, I just really like being on Fansly. And that might be a small minority, but they might end up spending more money per person than on OnlyFans. You just never know. So certainly it's an opportunity, but you have to take into account that time is money. Your time is valuable. If you're going to invest time in something, time in a site like Fansly, it has to pay off for you. This might not be the best time to jump on. It might be a bit of a waiting game and say, okay, well, maybe in a couple months, if I see that the numbers are still doing well, if I see people are still promoting, I see things are still, going as they're supposed to for the creators on Fansly and fans are still paying money, I'll jump on now. But this is a good little guide as far as how to promote. Certainly if you have your OnlyFans page and you're going to have a Fansly page as well, hopefully those 33 tips will help you in getting started with your Fansly page. Okay, so that was a lot of information, but it was what is Fansly and how do you promote it? Okay, now on to the listener question, and we shall see. All right, what this is. So a listener asked, I feel like people aren't subbing as much on my OnlyFans because they still think that the ban is coming in October 2021. Have you heard this from other creators? Okay, so I'm going to say yes, I have. There was much more media coverage of the ban than the reversal. And I mean, this happens a lot of times. So for like the Atlanta bomber, Richard Jewell, there was a lot more promotion that poor Richard Jewell, who was 100% innocent, his name was put out as the Atlanta bomber for those who are old enough to remember the 1996 Olympics, and ruined his reputation. Now, of course, it came back, oh, no, he's completely innocent. But you can imagine the amount of media coverage that came in saying this is the Atlanta bomber. And then the, mouse squeak that was, oh, no, we got the wrong guy. Sorry about that. And that's what's happened with OnlyFans a little bit as well, is that there was huge amount of media coverage. And if you certainly can look up OnlyFans ban, you can see 5 to 6 to 1, as far as ban, OnlyFans bans, adult content as opposed to OnlyFans reverses the ban. So there's definitely going to be people who are not going to know. They're going to think that the ban is, still around. So, definitely OnlyFans shot itself in the foot. I don't believe the conspiracy theories that, this was a big publicity stunt. I just don't think that creating rivals and competitors overnight that, were viable alternatives to your platform and basically, putting a bad taste in millions of creators' mouths was a great publicity stunt. I don't think that's going to make them any more money. They were as famous as I think, famous could be. Everyone already kind of knew what OnlyFans was. All that did was make them seem like wobbly, like people who can't make a decision. But I don't believe that was an intentional publicity stunt. But to answer the listener's question, I believe after October, people will know that the ban, isn't real or isn't happening anymore, and traffic and subs will go back to normal. I've certainly seen the numbers, as I mentioned in previous podcasts, number of people who are looking on Google for all of these things. They have rebounded for promotion, for creators. The numbers certainly dipped during that week where people didn't know what was going on, but the numbers are coming back. So I definitely, for those who are wondering whether or not they're going to be able to get those numbers back to where they were, in August, hopefully I do believe that you will be able to do that. And, as I mentioned, I'm going over Fansly because I want to make sure that people have that in the future. If OnlyFans does do something like that, people aren't jumping off of the boat and swimming to the nearest boat in hopes that, they can survive, but will already have another boat nearby or already have a life vest on that they can just jump into the water. You know what I mean? So I don't say that you necessarily have to have a Fansly. I'm not personally recommending this. I, talked about in one of the previous episodes about the best alternative for you. Find the one that works best for you and utilize that one just in case OnlyFans decides to pull some shenanigans in the future. Okay, so again, my name is Richard Lewis. I am the founder of OnlyFans Hero, and the OnlyFans and fan site, and apparently, according to Fansly, paid social media site, marketing site, SEO Bounty. And you can follow along with almost all of the last, I'd say 20 episodes on our blog at seobbounty.com/blog. And I highly recommend that. Someone reached out recently and said they listened to all the podcasts and read all of my blogs, and I could not have been happier. That made me feel really good. I definitely love hearing that. I know people take in media and take in information in different ways, so I wanted to have everything written out in case for those people who don't necessarily learn as well, through audio. And you can find this podcast on Instagram at OnlyFans Secrets Podcast, as well as on Reddit at the subreddit of OnlyFans Secrets, as well as we are, of course, on OnlyFans at onlyfans.com/OnlyFansHero, where you can subscribe and follow for free for the latest updates on this podcast so that you know exactly when new episodes come out. And you can find us, of course, on Twitter at OnlyFans Hero. You can also find us at OnlyFans Podcast, and now OnlyFans Noobs, which has now just exploded and is one of the most popular promos going right now. Every time I tweet, I get hundreds of people interacting with that, which is really awesome. Certainly, that means that there's a lot of people, new blood coming into OnlyFans. And I definitely appreciate everyone who follows OnlyFans Noobs as well. And you can reach out to me at OnlyFans Hero if you have any questions about the podcast, have any questions about OnlyFans. I am here for you if you have those questions. And you can also buy a promotion from us. There's not a ton of places for creators to promote that are legitimate. And one of the goals of the podcast is to create a legitimate promotion. And you can find that information at seobbounty.com/Twitter-promos. Again, that's seobbounty.com/Twitter-promos, where we go, basically you can read about the different types of promotion that we have across all of our different pages. As I mentioned, there's a lot of them. There's 5 or 6 of them, including the new Fansly one. Reach out to me directly as well at OnlyFans Hero if you want to promote your Fansly after listening to this episode, and I will give you a special rate to do so. All right. I really appreciate you listening to this episode. If you have an opportunity to leave a review for this podcast, it really helps. It helps other people find that this podcast exists. You can do so through iTunes, basically Apple iTunes, or through Amazon.com/Audible, where you can just look up OnlyFans Secrets and leave a review. Written reviews are the best. I read them. I love them. So if you can leave one of those, that would be great. And as always, I appreciate you listening to this podcast, and I will see you on the next episode of the OnlyFans Secrets podcast.